I always thought family was the one thing you could count on, a safe harbor in a world of sharp edges. But sometimes, the people you love most are the ones who carve the deepest wounds. My name is Ruby, and 6 months ago, I bought a duplex just outside Portland, Oregon, thinking I was building a bridge to keep my family close. At 32, I'd clawed my way to stability with an engineering job, and I wanted to share that with my parents, who were drowning in debt. What I didn't know was how quickly gratitude could curdle into entitlement, how my act of love would become my biggest regret. The duplex wasn't glamorous, 2,000 square feet of practical brick and vinyl siding, split into two identical 1,000 square foot units with a shared 0.2-acre backyard. I paid $450,000, a stretch even on my $85,000 salary, but it felt like a milestone. The real estate agent droned on about earning $1,500 a month per unit in rent, but I had other plans. My dad had lost his job at the mill, and Mom's 15-an-hour gig at the library barely covered their groceries. They were one missed payment from eviction, so I offered them the back unit, rent-free. It was my way of saying, we're in this together. Mom hesitated when I showed them the place, her eyes scanning the kitchen's 10 feet of Formica counter space like a health inspector. "We can't accept this, Ruby," she said, already testing the cabinet hinges. "It's too much." Dad stood in the doorway, hands stuffed in his jeans, muttering about not needing charity. "We raised you to stand on your own," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. They'd been sleeping on a pull-out couch in my brother Chris's 600-square-foot apartment where he lived with his girlfriend Nina. 1 week there, and Mom was ready to strangle someone, so they moved in, boxes and all, into the back unit. I told them, think of it as an investment in family. They nodded, and I believed we were building something solid. For a month, it felt like a win. Mom planted basil and thyme in the 800-square-foot backyard, her hands wrist-deep in soil, humming old folk tunes. Dad tinkered with leaky faucets and creaky doors, his toolbox a constant companion. I'd come home from work, wave at them through the kitchen window, and feel a glow of purpose. My duplex wasn't just a building, it was a promise kept. I'd done something meaningful, something that said, Ruby's got this. But then Mom started dropping comments, little barbs disguised as observations. "The back unit's so dark," she'd say, squinting at her 200 square feet of windows. "Feels like a cave compared to yours." I'd laugh it off, stirring my coffee, thinking she was just adjusting. I didn't see the storm brewing, the way her words were laying the groundwork for something uglier. Family, I thought, was about give and take. I just didn't realize how much they'd take, or how little they'd give back. The first crack in my family dream appeared over coffee, but I was too busy sipping my 350 latte to notice. Mom and I had a ritual, weekly catch-ups at a diner near the duplex, where the Portland rain streaked the windows and the air smelled of burnt toast. I thought we were bonding, but Mom was sizing up my life. "Your unit's light is so much better," she said one morning, stirring her decaf. All that 300-lumen glow from the east windows. I frowned, picturing the identical 1,000-square-foot layouts. "They're the same, Mom," I measured. She sighed. "Maybe, but yours feels brighter." The next week, it was the kitchen. "You've got 12 feet of counter space, Ruby. Ours is so cramped." I'd measured that too, 10 feet in both units. "It's the same," I said, but she just patted my hand. "We're grateful, don't get us wrong." I believed her because doubting the family felt like betraying them. At work, my friend Emma saw through the fog I was lost in. Over $12 turkey sandwiches in the break room, she leaned in, her eyes sharp. "They're going to take advantage of you, Ruby. That's what family does." I bristled, crumbs falling from my lips. "Not my family. They're just settling in." Emma's look said, "You sweet summer child," but she didn't press. Back at the duplex, I kept up the routine, waving to Mom as I left for my 40-hour work week, helping Dad mow the 0.2-acre lawn on weekends. But the weight of their expectations grew heavier. The $200 monthly utilities I covered, the 100 Mbps Wi-Fi I paid for, the maintenance I handled, they stopped saying thank you. It was just expected, like I owed them for being their daughter. Mom's complaints about the back unit piled up, each one a pebble in my shoe. "Only 200 square feet of windows," she'd mutter. Makes it feel so small. Then came the day I found my front door ajar. I always lock it, always. My heart thudded as I pushed it open, scanning my living room. The TV was there, my laptop untouched on the coffee table. But in the kitchen, a glossy pamphlet sat on my counter, creating the perfect nursery. Yellow walls, white cribs, a world I wasn't part of. I'm 32, single, and not pregnant. "Mom!" I called, storming to the connecting door. "Did you come into my place?" Her voice floated back, airy. "Just for a minute, Ruby. Needed the measuring tape." I held up the pamphlet, my stomach twisting. "What's this doing here?" A pause. "Oh, Nina must have left it. She and Chris stopped by. My brother and his girlfriend in my unit without asking. They were measuring," Mom added, like it was nothing. "They're thinking about a family soon." I gripped the pamphlet, words catching in my throat. "Next time, ask me first." Mom's laugh was light, dismissive. "Ruby, don't be dramatic. We're family." I stood frozen, the pamphlet's cheerful cover mocking me. Family. The word was supposed to mean everything, but it felt like a leash. Why were Chris and Nina measuring my 1,000 square foot home with a 25-foot tape? Why did Mom think it was okay to let them in? I called Emma, my voice shaking. "Tell me I'm not crazy." She didn't hesitate. "You're not. They're crossing lines." My phone buzzed. Another of Mom's texts about the back unit's dark vibe. I stared at the nursery pamphlet, its promise of someone else's future in my space. The storm I hadn't seen was here, and I was standing in its path, wondering how family could feel so much like betrayal. I thought the nursery pamphlet was the worst of it, a clumsy overstep I could forgive. But family has a way of turning small cracks into canyons, and what I found next wasn't just a betrayal, it was a blueprint for stealing my home. My phone buzzed as I stood in my kitchen, still clutching that glossy promise of someone else's future. Emma's text lit up the screen. "Girl, check Nina's Instagram, now." My thumb hovered, dread pooling in my gut. I'd let Mom's dismissal slide, convinced myself it was a one-time lapse. But the truth was waiting, and it was about to shatter the illusion that family always has your back. I opened Instagram, and there was Nina, spinning in my master bathroom, her grin wide against my cream tiles. 12 by 8 feet of space I'd chosen myself. The caption read, "Future Home Tour," with heart emojis, as if my home was hers to claim. I replayed it, each loop tightening the knot in my chest. This wasn't a casual visit, it was a declaration. My brother Chris and his girlfriend were planning their life in my 1,000 square foot unit, and I hadn't been consulted. I called Emma, my voice a hiss. "Tell me this isn't my bathroom." She sighed. "It's yours, Ruby." What the hell are they doing? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. A text from Chris, but not for me. "Mom says Ruby will cave once we explain. She's always been practical." My hand shook as I screenshot. A second later, "Sorry sis, wrong chat, too late." The mask was off. I marched to the back unit, the 0.2-acre backyard blurring past, and knocked hard. Mom opened the door, her face already set in that I'm everything look. "We need to talk," I said, pushing past her into their living room. Dad was in his recliner, crossword in hand, pretending the air wasn't electric. I held up my phone, Nina's video frozen on the screen. "Why is my brother's girlfriend giving tours of my home?" Mom sat, smoothing her skirt. "We were going to discuss this properly, Ruby. Chris and Nina need space for a family. Your unit's perfect. They need the 1,000 square feet, and you're at work 40 hours a week." Dad cleared his throat. "Not give up, Ruby. Trade. You take the back unit." I laughed, sharp and hollow. "Trade? I paid $450,000 for this place. You live here rent-free. How is that not enough?" Mom's eyes narrowed. "You're being selfish. Think about your future niece or nephew." The words hit like a slap. Selfish? I'd bought this duplex to keep them afloat, covered $200 monthly utilities, and now I was selfish for wanting my own home? "What about what I need?" I asked, voice steady despite the fire inside. Mom waved a hand. "You're fine, Ruby. You've got your career. Chris is 27, just starting out. Nina wants to be a stay-at-home mom." Dad muttered, "Family helps family," still not looking up. I gripped my phone, Nina's video, a silent accusation. Really? Because it looks like family takes from family. Mom's face hardened. Just say you don't want us here. I wanted to scream. I wanted you here until you decided my home was Chris's. Instead, I said, no. No swap. No discussion. I walked out, Mom's voice trailing. Ruby, don't be like this. But I was done pretending their version of family included me. Back in my unit, I stared at the nursery pamphlet, its yellow walls mocking my trust. Emma texted, "You okay?" I wasn't. The word family had always been my anchor, but now it felt like a trap. Chris's text echoed in my head. Ruby will cave. They were so sure I'd fold, like I always had. But something shifted that night. I wasn't just hurt, I was angry. And anger, I was learning, could be a powerful fuel. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it sharpens your edges. After seeing Nina's Instagram tour and Chris's smug text, I wasn't the same Ruby who'd waved at Mom every morning. I was a woman with a $450,000 duplex and a family who thought my life was theirs to rearrange. Sitting in my living room, the nursery pamphlet still on my counter, I felt a spark of something new, not just anger, but resolve. I wasn't going to let them take my home. I was going to take it back, and I'd do it with the kind of precision they'd never see coming. Emma was my lifeline. At work, I showed her the screenshot of Chris's text over lukewarm coffee. They're planning my life without me, I said, voice low. She leaned across her cubicle, eyes fierce. Ruby, it's time to stop being the good daughter and start being smart. Get out of your feelings and into your bank account. She pulled out her phone. I know a guy, Kingsley, a real estate agent. He's handling properties in your 5-mile radius. Want his number? I thought of Mom's dismissal, Nina's heart emojis, and nodded. Yeah, I do. Emma's grin was all teeth. That's my girl. I needed proof, though, something to confirm my family's audacity. That morning, I'd installed a $50 motion detector, a discreet lens aimed at my front door. At 2:17 p.m., my phone pinged. From my office cubicle, I watched the live feed, Chris and Dad slipping into my unit, a 25-foot measuring tape in Chris's hand. She's at work, right? Chris asked. Dad's voice was gruff. Never home before 5. Chris stretched the tape across my 12 by 14-foot bedroom. Nina wants a king bed. Think it'll fit? Dad chuckled. Your mom's sure Ruby'll come around once you explain the baby thing. She always caves. Remember her $5,000 Toyota in college? I turned off the feed, my coffee souring. They weren't just planning. They were counting on my weakness. Emma dialed Kingsley from her car at lunch, the Portland skyline gray beyond the windshield. His voice was smooth, professional. Reed Scott Investments is buying duplexes like yours, Ruby. They're offering $600,000, but both units must be vacant in 3 weeks. I choked on my iced tea. That's significant. Emma muted the call. You could buy a condo, Ruby. No family measuring your closets. I unmuted. Send me the paperwork. Kingsley's email arrived by 3 p.m., the offer letter blinking on my screen. I hesitated, picturing Mom's herb garden, Dad's toolbox. Evicting them felt ruthless, but so was their plan to evict me from my own life. I signed. The cursors click a quiet vow. Back home, my family's entitlement didn't pause. Mom texted, Nina's parents want to see your unit next week. We'll use your spare key. I typed back, busy with work, and got a reply. No worries, we have keys. Nina posted another Instagram story twirling in my kitchen, captioning it, can't wait to transform this 1,000-square-foot gem. She called my decor basic, oblivious that I was the previous occupant. Mom emailed a list titled, Necessary Changes for Chris and Nina. New $200 showerhead, $500 closet organizers, neutral paint over my sage walls. We'll start this weekend, she wrote. No need to thank us. The audacity made me laugh, a bitter sound. They were remodeling my home while I was still in it. I kept my poker face at our next family dinner, nodding as Nina gushed about 50-a-gallon paint samples. We're so grateful, Ruby, Mom said, her eyes calculating. I poured her wine, smiling. Just thinking about timing, I said, vague enough to keep them complacent. That night, I moved $2,000 worth of valuables to a storage unit, Emma helping under the cover of darkness. Kingsley texted, "Paperwork finalized. Notices up in 1 week." I changed my back door locks. The screwdrivers rasp a small rebellion. Through the window, I saw Mom in her kitchen, probably planning more upgrades. My checklist grew. Transfer $200 utilities, secure new home. Wait, I wasn't just protecting my space, I was rewriting the rules of family, and they had no idea what was coming. I'd spent weeks weaving a web of secrecy, my poker face honed to perfection while my family planned their future in my home. But secrets, like storms, have a breaking point, and mine was set for a Monday morning at 9:01 a.m. As I sipped coffee in my 1,000 square foot unit, the duplex I'd bought for $450,000, I braced for the explosion. I'd signed away my family's free ride with Reed Scott Investments, trading their entitlement for $600,000 and my freedom. The eviction notices were coming, and with them, the truth. Kindness isn't weakness, and I wasn't their doormat anymore. The final family dinner was my last act of deception. Mom helped herself to pasta, oblivious to the ticking clock. "The back unit's kitchen needs more counter space," she said, her 10 feet of formica suddenly insufficient. I smiled, refilling her wine. "I've been thinking about what you said, about the unit swap." Chris nearly choked on his garlic bread. "Really? You're okay with it?" Nina clapped, her eyes bright. "Oh my God, Ruby, I've got 50-a-gallon paint samples ready." I nodded, vague. Just need to sort out timing. Dad shifted in his recliner, uneasy, like he sensed the ground shifting. "That's generous, Ruby," he mumbled. I cleared plates, my checklist mental, utilities transferred, $2,000 in valuables stored, new condo secured. Kingsley's text sealed it. Notices go up Monday. I was ready. At 9:00 a.m., my mom's scream pierced the duplex's walls. "Ruby! Open up!" I took a breath, opened my door, and faced her trembling hand thrusting a notice. "Eviction. Property sold. Vacate in 3 weeks." "What is this?" she demanded. I scanned the paper, feigning shock. "I got one too." Chris burst in, Nina trailing, her mascara smudged. "They can't sell the building," he shouted. I met his eyes. "They can." I called Reed Scott. "The sale's final. $600,000. Nina sobbed. "But the nursery," Mom patted her shoulder. "Ruby, call them back. You own this place." I corrected, owned, past tense. Chris's phone was out, fingers flying. "I'm calling a lawyer." A sleek black car pulled up, and Kingsley stepped out, briefcase in hand, his tailored suit a stark contrast to the chaos. I opened the door. "Good morning," he said, voice smooth. "I represent Reed Scott Investments. You've seen the notices?" Mom pushed forward. "This is a mistake. My daughter owns this building." Kingsley opened his briefcase. "Former owner. The sale closed last week." He handed Chris the paperwork. Chris scanned it, his face paling. "Dated 2 weeks ago." "Ruby, you knew?" I kept my expression neutral. "I got the same offer. Reed Scott's buying up the neighborhood. Too good to pass up." Nina's voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell us?" I tilted my head. Would it have mattered? Like when you planned my unit's nursery without asking? The silence was deafening. Kingsley cleared his throat. "Both units must be vacated in 3 weeks. Reed Scott offers a $1,000 relocation allowance." Chris laughed bitterly. "Our future was here." I stepped closer. "Your future, in my home, measured behind my back." Dad's eyes widened, understanding dawning. Kingsley continued. "The paperwork's legal. I suggest securing new housing." Nina's tears renewed. "My parents bought $3,000 of nursery furniture." I shrugged. "Cancel the delivery." Mom leaned in, whispering, "You planned this. You're no longer our daughter." My whisper matched hers. "I stopped feeling like your daughter when you gave my home to Chris." Kingsley handed out packets, rental listings, moving companies. Chris crumpled his. "We'll fight this." Kingsley smiled. "The contract's ironclad. Ms. Valdez's lawyer ensured it." All eyes turned to me. Dad's voice was soft. "You had a lawyer?" I nodded. "Learned from the best. Family first, right?" Nina stormed out, Chris yelling about lawsuits. Mom clutched her notice, frozen. 3 weeks, Kingsley reminded them. After that, law enforcement steps in. Dad took Mom's arm, leading her away without a glance. Kingsley lingered. Cleanly done, Ruby. Closing documents are ready. I nodded, watching my family huddle in their unit, plotting their next move. Emma texted, "It's done?" I replied, "Freedom in 3 weeks." The nursery pamphlet sat on my counter, a relic of their arrogance. I tossed it in the trash, feeling no guilt, but clarity. Karma wasn't just coming. It had arrived, signed, and notarized. The fallout was loud, but the aftermath was quiet, like the hush after a storm. 3 weeks after the eviction notices, I stood on the sidewalk outside my old duplex, watching movers haul away the last traces of a life I'd built for others. The $600,000 sale had bought me a 200-square-foot condo downtown, 12 floors above Portland's Pulse, where no one held a spare key. I'd traded my family's expectations for peace, and as the moving trucks rumbled away, I felt lighter than I had in years. But freedom, I was learning, comes with a price. Not regret, but the ache of letting go of who you thought your family was. Moving day was a theater of raw emotions. Emma stood beside me, her coffee steaming in the morning chill as movers emptied both units. Mom and Dad's furniture went to a storage unit. They'd found a 700-square-foot apartment 10 miles away, $1,500 a month, stretching their budget thin. Chris and Nina faced a murkier future, their plans unraveling. Nina stormed out of the duplex, mascara streaking her face. "This is your fault, Ruby," she screamed. "We had everything planned." I crossed my arms. "You planned my home. There's a difference." She threw up her hands. "We're family." I stepped closer. "Family doesn't measure rooms behind my back." Chris appeared deflated. "Nina, it's not worth it." She whirled on him. "Your sister destroyed our future and it's not worth it?" I laughed sharply. "You mean the future where you raise your kids in my space, and I vanish into the back unit?" Nina's eyes flashed. "You're jealous, alone while we start a family." Emma tensed, but I held up a hand. "I'm not alone, Nina. I'm free." She stormed to her car, tires squealing. Chris lingered, shoulders slumped. This was my chance to prove myself. I met his gaze. "Prove yourself by working for it, like I did." He walked away, silent. Inside, Mom sat in their bare living room, staring at nothing. Dad carried a box of photos, pausing. "Your mother kept every school picture," he said, not meeting my eyes, "even the ones where you wouldn't smile." I nodded. I wasn't big on faking happiness. He shifted. "We thought you'd understand about Chris." I didn't flinch. "I understand. I just stopped agreeing." Mom appeared in the doorway, ignoring me. "We're ready," she told Dad. They drove off, Mom wiping her eyes. Emma touched my arm. "You okay?" I watched the last truck turn the corner. It hurts, but not as much as losing myself would have. Emma and I walked through the empty duplex, my footsteps echoing in the 2,000-square-foot void. In my old bedroom, Nina's $10 paint samples, nursery yellow, baby's breath white, clung to the wall. I peeled them off, each strip a small victory. Outside, I locked both doors, the keys destined for Kingsley tomorrow. My new condo was a world apart. City views, no measuring tapes, a $400,000 sanctuary bought with Reed Scott's deposit. Over wine, Emma toasted, "To boundaries and consequences." Kingsley texted, "Duplex listed for $1.2 million. I smiled, scrolling through photos of the gutted units, every trace of my family's dreams erased. My phone buzzed. "Dad," from a new number. "Your mother misses you, but won't admit it." I showed Emma. "You replying?" I thought of Mom's blocked number, Chris's failed lawsuit, and Nina untagging me from her Instagram posts. Maybe when they see me as an adult, not a resource. Emma nodded. "They might never." I set the phone down. "Then I'll keep my view." The Portland skyline glittered, casting shadows through my new home. I sank into my couch. No guilt, just certainty. "Home isn't where the heart is," I told Emma. "It's where you protect your heart, especially from family." She raised her glass. to measure life by your own standards. Outside, the city hummed with possibility. Inside, my space was mine, and that was enough. A handful of quarters glints under the flickering light of my kitchen bulb, each coin a tiny rebellion against the life I never chose. I'm Charlotte, 32, and my apartment's peeling wallpaper and unpaid bills whisper a truth I've ignored for a decade. I've been paying my parents' mortgage since I was 22, a temporary favor that chained me to their dreams while mine rusted away. As I sort coins for tomorrow's groceries, my phone buzzes with Mom's fifth call today, each unanswered ring tightening the knot in my chest. What now? Another emergency? Another demand? Another piece of me carved away? I stack nickels methodically, their metallic clink a metronome to my thoughts. 10 years ago, Dad's accident left them teetering on foreclosure, and I, the practical one, stepped in. 3 months, they said, just until they were back on their feet. But 3 months became 3 years, then 10, and now I'm drowning in their debt while my rent looms like a guillotine. My banking app shows a balance that mocks me, $2,100 due tomorrow for their mortgage, leaving pennies for my survival. I'm not living, I'm surviving, a human ATM for a family that never says thank you. The phone buzzes again, a text from Mom. Charlotte, answer now. It's about Riley. Of course it is. My younger sister Riley is the golden child. Her Instagram stories a parade of 5-star hotels and designer bags, all somehow funded while I scrape by. I pick up, bracing myself. Finally, Mom chirps, her voice bubbling with Riley-exclusive excitement. You'll never guess what happened. I clutch a quarter, its edge biting my palm. What happened? I ask, though I already dread the answer. Riley's engaged. Bod proposed last night at that rooftop restaurant with the crystal chandeliers. A string quartet, Charlotte, can you imagine? The quarter slips, clattering to the floor. That's wonderful, I manage, my voice hollow. Mom barrels on. We're having a family dinner tonight to celebrate. 7 sharp at Le Mayon. Don't be late. Le Mayon, $50 a plate, minimum. My coin pile won't cover a glass of water there. Mom, I can't. I start, but she cuts me off. Don't start, Charlotte. This is your sister's engagement. You're coming. Before I can argue, she adds, oh, and we need to discuss the wedding budget, since you're the practical one with all that financial knowledge. My stomach lurches. Mom, what? She laughs, airy and oblivious. It's just $50,000. Nothing for someone as responsible as you. Riley deserves her dream wedding, doesn't she? She's your only sister. The room spins, my coins blurring into a useless heap. I hang up, my breath shallow. Riley's text pings immediately. OMG, sis, can't wait to see you tonight. Found the perfect venue. Attached is a photo of a castle-like estate, sprawling gardens, and a lake view screaming money I don't have. My phone rings again. Sylvia, my best friend. Hey, human calculator, she chirps. Still think math makes you rich? I laugh, but it's brittle. Riley's engaged. They want me to pay for the wedding. $50,000. Sylvia's voice spikes. They what? After a decade of you bankrolling them? Tell them to go fund themselves. I glance at my coins. If only. I'm supposed to be at Le Mayon tonight. Sylvia's tone hardens. With what money? Those coins for your groceries? I sigh. Maybe I'll sell a kidney. She softens. Charlotte, you're killing yourself for them. Stop. I murmur, they're family. The same tired mantra I've clung to for years. But as I hang up, Mom's text stings. Wear something nice tonight, not those discount store clothes. Something sharp flares in my chest. Anger, maybe, or the first crack in my chains. I grab my keys, not ready to break free, but too tired to keep bending. The chandelier light at Le Mayon fractures into 1,000 glimmers, each one mocking the second-hand dress I've worn to every event for 3 years. I'm Charlotte, 32, and tonight I'm a stranger in my own family, seated across from my sister Riley, whose engagement ring could pay my rent for a year. The restaurant hums with wealth, plates clinking, champagne fizzing, while I calculate the cost of this dinner, $50 a head, 6 of us, a sum that could have bought my groceries for a month. Mom waves me over, her smile tight. You're late, Charlotte. I mutter. Traffic. Sliding into the empty seat. My stomach knotted with the weight of Mom's earlier call. $50,000 for Riley's wedding, my responsibility. Riley holds court, her manicured hand flashing that diamond as she scrolls her phone, oblivious to me. We ordered appetizers, she announces, and champagne, the good kind. Dad raises his glass. To my beautiful daughter and her wonderful fiancé, Bod, may your future shine as bright as that ring. Glasses clink. I sip, tasting debt. Riley leans forward, eyes sparkling. I found the perfect venue, Charlotte. That estate with the lake view. You saw my post, right? They only do 10 weddings a year, so we had to book fast. I choke on my champagne. You booked it? Mom nods quickly. We couldn't risk losing it. Perfect for Riley's vision. My voice shakes. How much was the deposit? Dad shrugs, casual as if discussing the weather. 10,000. Non-refundable, but it comes off the total budget. My hands tremble under the table. The budget you expect me to provide? Mom's tone turns patronizing. Now, Charlotte, we've always known you're the responsible one, while Riley has other gifts. The words slip out before I can stop them. Like being your favorite. Riley's smile falters. Don't be bitter just because I'm getting married first. Not my fault you're still single. Bod shifts, uncomfortable, his first movement since I arrived. Maybe we should, he starts, but I cut in, my voice rising. No, let's talk. Let's talk about how I've paid your $2,100 mortgage every month for 10 years, while Riley jets to Bali and posts about living her best life. Silence slams the table, and even nearby diners pause. Dad stiffens. That was a family agreement. After my accident, it was temporary. I laugh sharply. 3 months, you said, just until you were on your feet. That was a decade ago. Mom hisses, leaning forward. We're family, Charlotte. Family helps each other. Really? I snap, because I don't see Riley helping anyone but herself. Riley flushes. You're just jealous because you chose to be boring and responsible. My voice drops, lethal. I didn't choose anything. I was told it was my duty, while you got everything on a silver platter. The waiter appears, nervous. Perhaps the check? I stand, shoving my plate aside. Split it 6 ways. Mom's eyes widen. Charlotte, sit down. You're making a scene. No, I say. I'm finally speaking up. 10 years of my life, gone. My savings, my chance at a home, gone. And now you want $50,000 more? Riley scoffs, dripping condescension. You're good with money, Charlotte. It's the only thing you're better at than I. So handle the wedding and let me be the star. The room stills, her words a slap. I meet her gaze. You're right. I am good with money, which is why I know exactly how much you owe me. 10 years of mortgage payments with interest. Dad's face turns purple. Now listen. No, you listen, I cut in. I'm done. Find another ATM for Riley's fairy tale. I turn, Mom grabbing my wrist. If you walk out, don't come back. I look at her, the woman who's manipulated me for a decade. That's the first honest thing you've said in years. I pull free, ignoring Riley's gasp and Mom's calls. In the parking lot, my phone pings with the mortgage reminder. $2,100 due tomorrow. My fingers tremble as I open the app, the payment screen staring back like a decade of chains. Cancel payment? It asks. For the first time, I press yes, and something inside me, bound, battered, but unbroken, snaps free. The night air tastes like rebellion, but as I drive away, I know this is only the beginning. They'll come for me again, and I'm not sure I'm strong enough to keep saying no. My cubicle's fluorescent hum feels like a heartbeat, steady but fragile, as if the truth I'm chasing might shatter it all. I'm Charlotte, 32, and last night I canceled my parents' mortgage payment. A decade's weight lifted but replaced by a new dread. What have they been hiding? My phone glows with 15 missed calls, Mom, Dad, Riley, each voicemail a siren. I silence. At my desk, I'm not the dutiful daughter anymore. I'm a detective, unearthing a decade of lies that kept me chained. Sylvia rolls her chair over, coffee in hand. You look like you finally yanked that stick out your... Holy hell, you did it. Didn't you? I nod. Cancelled the payment. Told them I'm not funding Riley's wedding. She whistles. Double holy hell. Before I can elaborate, Noah Moore leans against my cubicle, his IT badge dangling. My childhood neighbor, now a corporate tech guy, flashes his easy smile. Computer troubles? Sylvia grins, gesturing at her coffee-splattered keyboard. Life troubles. Charlotte grew a spine. Noah raises an eyebrow. About damn time, Sylvia demands. You knew? He shrugs. Whole neighborhood watched Charlotte work 3 jobs in college while Riley got a convertible for her sweet 16. Their words stir something sharp. I open my desk drawer, fingers brushing Grandma Lorelei's sealed letter, her handwriting a whisper from beyond. Open when you're ready to face the truth about family. Am I ready? Noah nods at it. What's the worst that could happen? I hesitate, then pull out an old bank statement instead, its numbers nagging at me. Scanning it, my blood chills. This isn't just the mortgage, I whisper. There's a second loan, co-signed by Riley, taken out 3 years ago. Sylvia's eyes widen. When did she start her influencer gig? Noah leans over. And when your parents upped your payments for property taxes? I dig deeper, finding credit card statements, luxury hotels, first-class flights, all in Riley's name, paid from my account. Sylvia's voice rises. They used you as Riley's bailout fund. Noah's face darkens. Those bastards. My phone buzzes. Mom, mortgage payment failed. Fix it now. I see it for what it is, not concern, but control. I need to go home, I say suddenly, to check everything. Noah offers, Want company? I nod. Both of you. 20 minutes later, my apartment's floor is a battlefield of financial documents, each receipt a betrayal. Sylvia holds up a statement. They've been double-dipping for years, covering Riley's overspending with your money. Noah points to a charge. $5,000 for a Paris hotel? That's Riley's content trip. My hands shake, but I'm not crumbling. I'm building something new. Weeks later, I stand in my new 2-bedroom home, a modest haven bought with my savings. The realtor hands me the keys, their weight a promise. Noah arrives with champagne and plastic cups. First house celebration? I smile, voice light. Absolutely. We sit on the bare floor, sunlight streaming through dusty windows. They are still sending wedding invoices? He asks. I nod. Like nothing happened. My email pings. Dad. Urgent. Honeymoon budget. I open Grandma Lorelei's letter now framed on my wall. Her words hit like a lifeline. The house was your inheritance, Charlotte, not their playground. They can't borrow against it without your signature. Choose your freedom. I hit reply to Dad. Not my problem. I'm done. Sent. I block their numbers. Mom, Dad, Riley. Riley's Instagram story pops up, a tearful plea captioned, When your sister betrays you. I close the app, choosing my new walls over her old games. My phone quiets, and for the first time, I breathe free. The truth not a burden, but a key. The cream-colored invitation in my hand feels like a grenade, its gold embossing spelling out Riley's rehearsal dinner and my exclusion. I'm Charlotte, 32, standing outside Le Maison's glowing windows, clutching a manila folder that holds a decade's worth of my family's lies. Last month, I walked away from their demands, but tonight I'm back, not to beg, but to burn their house of cards to the ground. The truth is heavy, but my steps are light, each one a reclaiming of the life they stole. Inside, the private dining room buzzes with laughter, Riley at the head table, her engagement ring catching the chandelier's glow. Bod, her fiancé, sits stiffly beside her, his eyes distant. Mom and Dad work the room, all smiles and toasts, as if my absence is just another Tuesday. Bod spots me first, his voice low. Charlotte? I didn't think. Riley snaps, standing. She wasn't invited. Security. I hold up the folder, calm. Sit down, Riley. Unless you want your guests to hear about the credit card fraud. Her face pales and the room quiets. What are you talking about? She hisses. I step forward. Outside. Now. To my surprise, she follows. Mom starting to protest, but Dad holding her back, his eyes weary. In the hallway, I hand Riley the folder. Everything's here. The second mortgage, the loans in your name, the credit cards, all paid with my $2,100 mortgage payments. Her hands tremble, flipping through pages. This isn't... They wouldn't... They did, I say, steady. You're drowning in debt you didn't even know about. Her voice cracks. They'd have told me. I scoff. Like they told me they were funding your Instagram lifestyle? Bod appears, concern etching his face. Everything okay? I nod at the folder. Show him what you're marrying into. Riley clutches it, pleading. Body, don't... But he takes it, scanning a page. His eyes widen. This is why your parents wanted me to sign those pre-wedding financial documents? Shared debt responsibility? Riley's face crumples. I didn't know. Of course not, I say, oddly calm. You were too busy winning. Her eyes flash. Winning? This wedding, I reply, was about showing everyone you won life while boring, responsible Charlotte lost. She flinches, silent. Mom bursts in, voice shrill. What's going on? Riley's voice is small. Did you know about the loans? Mom freezes, Dad appears, ashen. Riley, sweetheart, we can explain. Did you know? Riley shrieks, the folder falling, papers scattering like a crime scene. Bod picks one up, reading. This is fraud, Dad snaps. It's family business. Stay out of it. I laugh, cold. Family? You call this family? Riley stares at the papers, years of lies laid bare. All this time, Charlotte was paying for everything. Mom insists. We did what we had to maintain our standard of living. To maintain your lies, I correct. Bod gathers the papers, standing. I need time to think. Riley reaches for him, desperate. Body, please. He steps back. I'll call you tomorrow. He walks away, folder in hand. Riley turns on me, tears streaking her makeup. You've ruined everything. This was my perfect moment. I meet her gaze, soft but firm. Congratulations, Riley. You won a house of cards and it's falling. I leave her sobbing, Mom and Dad scrambling to salvage the evening as guests whisper and depart. Outside, Noah waits in his car, concern on his face. How'd it go? Through the windows, I see chaos. Riley's meltdown, Mom's frantic gestures, Dad's phone calls. Exactly as planned, I say, sliding in. Take me home. Bod's text pings. Thank you for the truth. I don't reply. The truth is doing what I never could, setting us all free, ready or not. The lawyer's office gleams with cold steel, a fortress of finality where my past meets its reckoning. I'm Charlotte, 32, and the folder on Mr. Patterson's desk holds Grandma Lorelei's last gift, a legal shield against my family's greed. Weeks after exposing their lies at Riley's rehearsal dinner, I'm here to sever the final thread of their hold on me. My phone vibrates with another voicemail from Mom. Her hysteria no longer my problem. I've stopped fighting their battles. Today, I let their house of cards collapse for good. Mr. Patterson adjusts his glasses, his voice measured. Your grandmother was thorough. The family home wasn't just split ownership, she set conditions. Noah, beside me, squeezes my hand under the table. Your parents could only keep their half if they avoided additional liens or mortgages. My breath catches. The second mortgage they took out 3 years ago without telling me. Patterson nods. Violated the terms. Full ownership reverts to you. He slides a document across, its weight heavier than the $2,100 I paid monthly for a decade. You can keep the house, sell it, or let the bank take it. My phone buzzes. Mom again, ranting about foreclosure. I mute it, asking, what else? He hands me an envelope, fresh from probate. Your grandmother's final instruction. Grandma Lorelei's familiar scrawl spills across the page. My dearest Charlotte, if you're reading this, you've chosen yourself. That house was your inheritance, your fresh start, not their prison. They used your kindness against you, but you're stronger than their schemes. Let them face their consequences. Choose your freedom. Love, Grandma. A tear splashes the paper, Noah's arm steadying me. What do you want? He asks. Before I answer, Dad calls from a new number. Charlotte, please, he begs. The bank's moving forward with foreclosure. We'll be homeless. My voice is calm. You won't. You'll just live within your means for once. He pleads. We'll sign anything. That's the problem, I interrupt. You signed loans you couldn't afford, using my money for Riley's debts? His tone hardens. After all we've done, I laugh, cutting him off. Done to me, you mean? I hang up, turning to Patterson. What do I sign? An hour later, I've signed away the house, letting foreclosure proceed, no more enabling their disasters. Outside, my parents wait by my car, faces drawn. Mom steps forward, voice shrill. How did you find me? I ask. Dad mutters. Riley saw you come in. Mom's plea cracks. You can't do this, we're your parents. I meet her gaze. You taught me my final lesson. Sometimes love means walking away. They stand speechless as Noah starts the engine, their figures shrinking in the rear view. My phone explodes with notifications, Riley's Instagram post, screenshots of bank statements, painting herself the victim. Comments tear her apart. Your sister paid the mortgage while you lived in luxury? No wonder your fiancé bailed. The truth unravels without my lifting a finger. That night, Sylvia and Noah joined me for a dinner party in my new home, my table set with plates I bought myself. Sylvia chops vegetables, Noah stirs pasta, and I pour wine, our laughter filling the air. Heard anything? Sylvia asks, slicing peppers. Radio silence, I say. Riley's Instagram's gone quiet. The wedding's postponed indefinitely. Bod moved out. Sylvia whistles. Karma's clocking in. My phone rings. Mom, hysterical. They're saying foreclosure, your father's childhood home, I reply, steady. I know. I stopped preventing the inevitable. Dad grabs the phone, desperate. Help us, just this month. No, I say and block them again. Sylvia marvels at my phone's comments. Riley's followers exposing years of deceit. They're destroying themselves, she says. I raise my glass, quoting Grandma. Karma's not a sledgehammer, it's a mirror. Noah clinks his glass. To mirrors. Sylvia grins. To freedom. My backyard garden glows through the window. Tomatoes Noah helped plant are thriving. My walls hold photos of my new life, keys, friends, a mortgage I can afford. I'm not just okay. I'm whole. My family's downfall a distant echo I no longer need to hear. My garden's morning dew sparkles like a promise. Each tomato vine a quiet victory over the past. I'm Charlotte, 32, kneeling in the dirt of my backyard. The moving trucks rumble across the street, a final curtain on my family's empire of lies. The foreclosure I allowed is here, emptying the house I once propped up with $2,100 checks. My shears snip weeds, my hands steady, my heart unburdened. I've chosen myself, and this patch of earth, this life, is mine. No strings, no guilt, just roots I planted. A figure approaches my gate, Bod, holding a velvet box, Riley's engagement ring. Didn't expect you, I say, brushing dirt from my knees. He shifts, uneasy. Came to return this, and to thank you. For what? I ask. He glances at the truck, movers hauling Riley's trophies. For saving me from a mistake. I checked those documents you showed me, called off the wedding. I soften. I'm sorry. Don't be, he says. Better now than after signing. A screech interrupts Riley's red convertible. She leaps out, yelling at the movers. Stop! Those are ours! Mom and Dad pull up in their SUV, still clinging to luxury they can't afford. Mom spots me. Charlotte, are you happy now, your handiwork? I stand, calm. This isn't mine. It's yours. All of it. Riley spins, seeing Bod. Baby, please. He sets the ring box on the sidewalk. Save it. He walks away, her scream echoing. She storms my gate, eyes wild. This is your fault. You couldn't stand me happy. I laugh softly. Happy? Riley, you were never happy, just better at pretending. Dad steps forward. We can fix this. I shake my head. We can't, and that's okay. Mom's voice cracks. How is this okay? I gesture to my house, my garden. Because I'm okay, for the first time. Riley lunges, but Noah appears, stepping between us. Close enough. Riley sneers. Oh, Charlotte got a boyfriend. Took you long enough. Noah takes my hand, smiling. Not a boyfriend, a partner who knows her worth. The truck's engine roars, movers done. Mom tries once more. Charlotte, we're family. I meet her eyes. No, you're just people I used to know. I turn to my garden, Noah beside me, as Riley's sobs and Dad's mutters fade. The truck pulls away, then the SUV, Riley's convertible screeching last, leaving tire marks in silence. I brush dirt from my jeans, gazing at the empty house across the street, a ghost I've exorcised. What now? Noah asks. I smile. Now, I live. I walk to my front door, my name on the mailbox, and turn the key. Inside, sunlight dances on walls I painted, photos of real moments, my keys, my friends, my life. Dinner waits in my fridge, leftovers from last night's laughter with Sylvia and Noah. My desk holds bills I can pay, a mortgage I chose. Outside, my garden needs tending, flowers blooming where I planted them. Noah wraps his arms around me, whispering, "Welcome home." I lean into him. I am home. I've been home since I chose me. The past is gone, its drama a faint echo. Tomorrow, Riley might post another desperate story. Mom might call from a new number. But tonight, my door locks with my key. My life unfolds on my terms. Choosing myself didn't just close their door, it opened mine, with my name carved deep. And that's everything.